How to layer drapes and blinds for the best look. This is one of those interior design topics that sounds complicated until you understand the logic behind it. Once you get it, you'll see it everywhere and you'll understand immediately why some windows look incredible and others just look flat. We're going to break down the whole system, why layering works, how to do it correctly, what fabrics to pair, and the specific mistakes to avoid, why layering works. A single window treatment, whether it's a blind or a curtain, does one job. A blind controls light and provides privacy. A curtain adds softness and style. When you layer them, you get all of those things together. The blind handles the practical side, light filtering, blackout, privacy. The drape handles the aesthetic side, warmth, texture, color, height. The result is a window that looks considered and complete, the way windows look in high-end interior design magazines and professionally designed homes. It's not about spending more money necessarily, it's about understanding the logic. The inner layer, what goes closest to the glass. The inner layer should be functional. This is where your roller blind, zebra blind, or sheer shade lives. It sits on the window frame or just inside it and does the practical work. For a bedroom, a blackout roller blind as the inner layer gives you complete light control regardless of what the outer drape is doing. For a living room, a light filtering roller blind or a solar shade as the inner layer manages daytime glare while the outer drape handles style. For a layered sheer look, a sheer roller blind as the inner layer gives you privacy without blocking light during the day, while the outer drape provides more substantial coverage when pulled closed at night. The outer layer, the drapes, this is where the style lives. Drapes are the element that most people notice first because they're larger, more prominent, and more expressive than a blind. The key decisions with drapes are mounting height and width, fabric weight and fullness and length. Mounting height, this is the single most important factor in how good a layered window looks. Mount the curtain rod as high as possible, ideally 4 to 6 inches below the ceiling or higher if you have high ceilings. Don't mount it at the top of the window frame. That's the most common mistake people make, and it makes the room feel lower and the window feel smaller. High mounting draws the eye upward. It creates the visual impression of taller ceilings. Every interior designer knows this trick and uses it consistently. Mounting width, extend the rod well past the window frame on each side. As a minimum, go 4 inches past the frame on each side. 6 to 8 inches is even better if the wall space allows it. When the drapes are open and pushed to the sides, all that fabric needs to stack on the wall, not on the glass. If your rod only extends 2 inches past the frame, the open drapes will cover a significant portion of the glass and block light and view. Wider extension means cleaner, more open windows when the drapes are pulled back. Fabric weight and fullness, these two things determine how the drape looks when hanging. A heavier fabric like a linen, velvet, or blackout drape hangs with nice, clean folds and a sense of substance. A lighter fabric like a sheer or a thin cotton looks more relaxed and airy but can look cheap if it's too thin. Fullness refers to how much fabric you have relative to the width of the window. Professional looking drapes have at least 2 times the width of the window in fabric, meaning if your window is 60 inches wide and your rod extends 20 inches past on each side for a total of 100 inches, you want at least 200 inches of total fabric width across all panels. Skimping on fabric width is the second most common mistake after hanging too low. Flat, sparse drapes look unfinished. Length, floor length, or slightly longer, always. Drapes that end above the floor look unintentional. The 2 acceptable lengths are just grazing the floor, touching lightly, about half an inch of break, or pooling on the floor by an inch or 2 for a more relaxed, romantic look. The pooled look works beautifully in bedrooms and formal dining rooms. The light graze works in living rooms and spaces with more traffic. What never looks right is a gap between the drape and the floor. Fabric pairing, what to put with what. The inner layer and outer layer should complement each other without competing. If your drape is a textured linen in a warm neutral, your inner roller blind can be a clean white or off-white. Simple, unobtrusive, doing its job quietly. If your drape is a solid color, say a deep green or a warm terracotta, the inner blind can be a complementary neutral. What to avoid? An inner blind with a strong pattern paired with patterned drapes. That's too much visual information in one window. Keep one element patterned and the other solid. Specific room applications. In a bedroom, blackout roller blind as the inner layer, floor length line drapes as the outer layer. The drapes can be in any color that suits the room. This combination gives you complete light control and a finished, designed look. In a living room, light filtering or solar roller blind as the inner layer, linen or velvet drapes as the outer layer. During the day, the drapes are open and the blind handles light. In the evening, close the drapes for warmth and privacy. In a dining room, a sheer roller blind as the inner layer, floor-length curtains as the outer layer. The sheer gives soft, diffused light during meals, while the curtains add elegance for evening entertaining. Hardware matters more than people think. The curtain rod, the rings or grommets, the finials at the ends, these are visible and they contribute to the overall look. A beautiful set of drapes hung on a cheap-looking rod undermines the whole effect. Choose hardware that suits the style of the room. Brushed brass for a warm, traditional space. Matte black for a modern space. Polished chrome for a contemporary, clean look. The hardware doesn't need to be expensive, but it should be intentional. Joe's Blinds can help you plan the full layered look for any room in your home. We carry blinds, drapes, hardware, and everything in between. Come into the showroom or call us for a consultation. We'll help you get it right.